The knock. You're fired. The words didn't arrive in an email. They didn't come through HR. They came through my front door. Loud. Sharp. Unexpected. I stood frozen in the hallway, still holding my daughter's backpack, trying to process how my boss was standing on my porch at 7:10 in the morning, and why she looked angry. Not irritated. Angry. Miss Carter? I asked carefully, what are you doing here? She stepped inside without waiting for an invitation, her eyes scanning the small apartment. The toys near the couch, the half-folded laundry, the cereal bowl still on the table. You ignored every hint I gave you, she said. I blinked. I don't understand. That was true. For months, I had been working harder than ever. After my wife passed away 3 years ago, everything became structured around survival. Work, daycare, groceries, bedtime routines. Repeat. There wasn't space for office politics. There wasn't time for decoding hints. There was only responsibility. Single parenthood doesn't leave room for interpretation. It leaves room for schedules. My daughter tugged gently on my sleeve. Daddy, are we late? I knelt down. Give me 1 minute. She nodded and walked toward her room. When I stood again, my boss crossed her arms. I moved your desk closer to mine. I thought that was for workflow. I asked if you had support at home. I assumed you meant scheduling flexibility. I invited you to multiple after-work meetings. I couldn't stay late. You know, daycare closes at 6. Each answer seemed to frustrate her more. You really didn't see it, she asked. See what? There was a pause. Not dramatic, just heavy. Then she shook her head. That's exactly the problem. My mind raced through the past few months. Deadlines met, projects completed, extra reports submitted early, so I could leave on time. I had done everything right. At least, everything I thought mattered. Look, I said calmly, if something is wrong with my performance, we can talk about it. It's not your performance, she replied. That confused me even more. Then why was she here? Why was she at my door? Why did this feel personal? I need to drop my daughter at daycare. I said gently, can we continue this at the office? No, she said firmly. Her tone shifted. Less frustration. More urgency. I needed to see it myself. See what? She gestured around the apartment again. The small space, the organized chaos, the visible signs of a life running on discipline instead of comfort. The reason... Something inside me tightened. I never asked for special treatment. I said quietly, you didn't ask for anything, she replied. That's because I handle my responsibilities. And that's exactly why this isn't working. Now, I was completely lost. Not working? I hadn't missed a single deadline in 18 months. Client feedback had been strong. My team reports were consistent. So what wasn't working? Before I could ask again, my daughter walked back out wearing her tiny backpack. Ready, Daddy? I nodded. Then I looked at my boss. Please, I said calmly. Just tell me what's happening. She took a slow breath. Then she said it again. You're fired. The sentence landed harder the second time. Not because it was louder, because it still didn't make sense. I didn't argue. Didn't panic. Single parents learn quickly that panic solves nothing. I simply asked one question. Why? She studied me for a moment like she was deciding something. Then her expression changed. The anger softened. The urgency stayed. Because, she said, you were never supposed to stay in that position this long. I frowned. I don't understand. You kept missing the hints, she continued. Every opportunity, every opening, every conversation. Now confusion turned into something else. Curiosity. What hints? She reached into her bag and pulled out a folder. Thick, structured, official. When she handed it to me, I noticed my name printed across the top and a title beneath it. A title that definitely wasn't my current role. I've been trying to promote you for 4 months. she said. Silence filled the hallway. Real silence. The kind that shifts everything. But you kept declining every meeting, leaving early, and avoiding conversations about leadership training. I stared at the folder. Promotion plan. Salary adjustment. Management track. My mind jumped back through every moment I thought I was protecting my schedule. Every time I said, I can't stay late. I need to pick up my daughter. Maybe next quarter. I wasn't avoiding growth. I was protecting survival. But from her perspective, I looked uninterested, uncommitted, unavailable. I thought you weren't ready, she said. I finally looked up. I wasn't unavailable. I said quietly, I just didn't know what you were offering. Her expression shifted again. This time, not frustration, realization. Then she glanced toward my daughter, who was quietly watching us without understanding any of it. And suddenly, the entire situation changed. Because now she didn't just see an employee. She saw the context, the structure, the responsibility, the reason I never stayed late, the reason I never read between the lines. Single parents don't read hints. They read clocks. She exhaled slowly. You're still fired, she said. But this time, she wasn't finished. And something told me the next sentence was going to change everything. The truth behind the word. I looked at the folder again, still trying to process what she had said. Promotion, leadership track, salary nearly double my current one. And I had almost missed all of it, not because I wasn't capable, but because I was busy surviving. You're still fired, she repeated, calmer now, from your current role. I blinked. What? She pointed at the folder. That position no longer exists for you. For a moment, I didn't react. My brain was still catching up to the shift. I don't understand. I admitted. Her voice softened. I kept trying to move you forward, but you kept stepping sideways to protect your schedule. I thought you weren't interested. Then I realized you just needed clarity, not hints. That sentence landed deeper than anything else. Clarity, not hints. Single parenting doesn't leave room for interpretation. Every decision has a deadline attached to it. I should have been direct, she continued. That part is on me. My daughter quietly sat on the couch, hugging her backpack, listening without interrupting. I reviewed your work again last week, my boss said. Consistency, reliability, zero excuses. You don't just complete tasks, you stabilize teams. I hadn't thought about it that way. I was just doing what life had trained me to do. Show up, deliver, repeat. So yes, she said, you're fired from the role that's been holding you back. The sentence finally made sense. Not punishment. Transition. She flipped open the folder and turned it toward me. New title. Flexible leadership schedule. Hybrid structure. Adjusted hours around daycare. Every constraint I had silently carried, already accounted for. You didn't miss the opportunity, she said. You just didn't know it was being built around you. For the first time that morning, the pressure in my chest eased. Not because things were easy, because someone had finally seen the full picture. And instead of treating it like a limitation, they treated it like leadership,